Welcome to the Crypto Truth, where I give you the truth as I see it. We actually have a lot to talk about. We all know that the hot token has taken off today. It went up 20%. Matter of fact, I had that up there to make sure that I was recording. Before I get into, because we're going to go over a couple of things here. Oh, what I always do that. What is it called? I should have did this before the video, but oh man, where's my phone? You know what? Where's your phone when you need it? I don't know what I did with that thing. It'll probably ring in a second here. Oh, there we go. That's what it is. My brain is going bonkers. There's a lot that I want to discuss and that I want to talk about. And we're going to get right into it because this is extremely important, you guys. I've stated this in my last video, and I wanted you guys to kind of understand exactly what I mean when I was talking about, Bitcoin and Ethereum in the long term and the connections between Ethereum and video games, and then also the connections. And we're gonna dive into this because we're gonna go and look at the we're gonna take just a small clip of the Orion Protocol and Holochain interview with David, but I want to get into where we are right now. So right now, and look at that, we have internet computer ICP going up by 28%, and it doesn't do anything. See, that's the stuff that I'm talking about. And by the way, for many of you guys that think I just rag on internet computer, I don't. I'm actually going to be talking about a recent interview or AMA from an old organization, or I should say project, that I used to like and support, and they're recently coming up out of the ashes. And I'm going to show you guys exactly why, and compare it to Holochain, and explain to you guys exactly why I dropped them before things got bad, and then I jumped onto Holochain when I really truly understood what Holochain was. But let's go ahead and get started here. Right now we're looking at, we're looking at 0.008. We're looking at, we went up 23%. And there's a lot of reasons why that has happened. Before we do that, I'm going to read, let me see if this is a long one. No, it's not a long one. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. This is Elemental Chat Testing Strong. This is Dev Post 101. It's posted on the 6th of August, 2021 by Paul Diaz. All right. So it says, I need to get started because I actually have a lot to say. And this isn't going to be any kind of filler where I'm just going to go on a rampage. I actually do have a lot of important things to say because it correlates to exactly what I talked about in my last video explaining a lot. This is really, really important, especially for some of you guys who are holding the hot token and understanding the hot token and trying to understand where the price is going to go. So we've been testing the Holo hosted version of Elemental Chat for 2 weeks now, and so far everything is working well. Most messages arrive quickly, even as new participants join and post messages. At the time of this writing, there are 245 participants who've posted 5,405 messages in 94 channels. So we see a lot of good progress here. We are seeing some performance issues. Messaging sometimes take a while to arrive in the browser, but we knew we'd see things like this. What we are not seeing is big slowdowns as more people join and write messages. The 245th participant is getting pretty much the same experience as the first. In fact, performance and reliability have been better than expected so far. And this is wonderful. This is really great. For those of you guys who are just joining in, maybe you don't know what Elemental Chat is or what Elemental Chat is, I highly advise you go ahead and just take a look at the previous, you can go on Holochain and you can look at the previous dev posts as well. All right. So Speed improvements coming soon with sharding. Currently, Holochain is operating in full sync mode, which means that every node gets every message. This is not that different from a proof of stake blockchain, except there's no costly consistent step. And it means there's still room to make things faster. If you followed the Holochain project for a while, you'll know that it isn't the final design. Holochain intends to become fast and cheap enough for everyday applicants by splitting the data processes burden up into manageable chunks or shards, also known as neighborhoods, of participants. We call this RRDHT. If you want to know more about RRDHT, how RRDHT works and why we built it, you can read this tech deep dive. That's for you deep dive techs, not for us guys who just say, hey, look here, hope in a prayer, believe in a project. It looks good. It looks like you guys are making progress. Let's move forward. It says, once sharding is implemented in Holochain, we expect performance to be a lot faster, even as thousands of participants join. The good news is that this work is already complete and ready to be merged and tested. What's next? Elemental Chat is still in pre-release testing, and we should begin inviting the public to use it once the Holoport Alpha program starts. We've already been taking email addresses for pre-registration. Register if you'd like to try it out too. Once the Holo team has finished testing sharding, it'll be included in a new Holochain release, deployed on a small set of Holoports, and tested by our pre-release testers. Once it passes that round of testing, it'll be deployed on all Holoports. Now, Holochain version 0.102 release breaking changes. Holochain has seen another update. The biggest item is a breaking change for validation callbacks. The must get host functions have finally landed, which means get and friends can no longer be used in validation callbacks. You can read more about this change in the last dev post. Holochain now compiles on Windows 2. Damien, a HAP developer in Holo Alumnus, contributed a patch that fixes a compatibility bug in the layer keystone. You can now use the Windows native Rust tool chain to build Holochain and your DNAs. They've been making, and I'm just going to offshoot on this, they've been trying to make it very easy for those who don't know how to build on Rust, for developers to be able to come on and fundamentally jump onto Rust and move on from there. This doesn't mean continue on. This doesn't mean we're officially supporting Windows yet, but it does look like you can use it as your primary development OS now. There are some performance improvements, bug fixes, and added changes conductor API endpoints. Read the full change log for details. All right, what's next? So sharding code is finished and being tested. I expect there will be a bit of performance tuning and bug fixing before it is released. But the core dev team is planning to include it in release version 103. The HDK is about to parallelize all sorts of expensive functions, getting entries, getting links, and making some calls or Zoom calls, maybe to peer Zooms and cells. Maybe that's Zooms. Maybe that's just a word I just don't know in the technical world. But anyway, this should make those functions a lot faster if there's a lot to do. No more looping over calls in serial. This is already in develop and should be included in the next release as well. The HDK is also about to support countersigning as a built-in feature. This set of host functions and entry types will abstract away the complexity that makes countersigning difficult to do well. At first, you'll need to solicit and gather counter signatures in your code, either synchronously or asynchronously. But eventually, there will be affordances to make this process even simpler. The first iteration will likely come in release after sharding. Thanks to Documentation Drive participants. I'm grateful to everyone who joined the community-led Holochain Documental Drive. I'm especially excited about new and updated introductory materials, including HAP building tutorial and client tutorial. I'll be publishing the edits to the developer portal soon. If you want to get involved in ongoing documentation improvements efforts, you can. Learn how to edit pages on development portal, review, HAP build tutorial, client tutorial, developer portal changes, contribute to how-to community wiki, and obviously This is covered. The cover photo by Danielle Cerullo and Amplash, and there's Paul Diaz right there. All right, you guys. So Holochain's improving. Holochain, the whole organization is moving on, is moving forward, I should say, and things are looking great. Now, I'm going to be doing a little going. I'm going to be going a little backwards and forwards here. So bear with me in just a moment. But what I want to do is I want to cover this small part right here. I want you guys to pay close attention to what Miss it says Tamithia from Orion Protocol CMO. If you guys have not realized exactly what's going on with Orion Protocol, you might want to check that out. And then also please understand, people, I'm going to put the link here for you guys. I'm going to make sure I remember to put the link in so you guys can see this entire video, this entire interview. I've reviewed it once. I'm going to review it again because I'm going to make some, you guys know how I do. I like to fine tune things and really look into what they're actually saying. So far, you guys, and I could say the told you so moment, but so far, everything that I've been saying from years ago, well, I should say a year and a half ago or plus, but everything that I've been saying a while ago, there's my phone, but everything I've been saying a while ago is starting to come true. It's starting to get to the point to where, wow. Oh, sorry, you guys. Man. I should have put it on vibrate. I apologize. Man, I didn't know it was going to be like that. Everything that I was talking about holofuel and the hot token and how everything is going to come together and how organizations and companies and how countries and cities are going to start to use the holochain technology. I've told you guys before, and I'm telling you guys again, this is extremely important for many of you guys. And by the way, after this video, I'm going to go into, because some of you guys are like, oh, well, can Holochain reach $1 and everything else in between? Well, duh. But I'm going to break some numbers down. Like really, and you guys know I got a board now, so I'm a little excited about it. But I'm going to break it down on the board with my numbers. And I'm going to have a calculator this time because y'all know my math is bad. And we're going to break down some stuff. But here we go right here. Okay, I want you guys to pay close attention and listen and look at the body language as well. This is extremely important when it comes to interviews and when it comes to understanding exactly what's going on. Okay, here we go.
Government endorsed you guys. They said they announced a program to support cultural technologies where you were mentioned as one of the emerging ones that could create important underlying structures for building. So what does this really mean, and what does it mean for Holo, and what other exciting things do you have coming up?
So I know there was a little bit of technical difficulties. It's comforting to know that other people have technical difficulties as well when it comes to video chat and different things. You guys know my interview kind of did not go as well as I had hoped as far as volume goes, but basically she's asking, hey, recently the French government has endorsed you guys, and she used that word endorsed, and I want you guys to listen to what David says.
You can share with us.
Yeah, great question. For a long time, you get the EU, UK government.
Okay, so what he's referring to is, I went over this before in a video and talked about how the UK, how the EU, UK have been looking at Holochain. So here we go.
Departments within the US, etc., Latin America, Asia, pointing to this kind of infrastructure being an essential and crucial, like missing component. You also get a lot of people out of Silicon Valley, and Art wrote an article with looking at what Vitalik and Elon Musk were talking about, Jack Dorsey also. A lot of the design patterns they're pointing to are actually holochain design patterns.
Exactly. So what he's basically saying is everything that a lot of these people, and I'm going to include another person, Tim Berners-Lee. Tim Berners-Lee is one of those guys to where he was talking about going into like the decentralized internet and building a new internet and everything else in between. And I'm like, this technology does he not know about it? Like, how do people not know about Holochain? And if they do know about Holochain, I'm trying to understand, because there's a lot of people who want to be invested in Holochain for money purposes, not for the technology, but just for the money purposes. And why we have to separate those two, because this technology is groundbreaking. So how do you make money? Well, you make money by investing, right? You make money by investing in what? Technology. At least that's what's been the last 20 plus years. And when you invest in technology, you hold on for a long term, it looks good. When you're able to get in first with certain technologies. Now, on the other side, David is talking about how Holochain is actually going to be used, within governments, within everything that I've been talking about for forever now.
And so I think like what we see is there's a amazing product market fit that has been building and growing, and part of that was like, is the blockchain industry beneficial or not for Holochain? And actually, well, it's hugely beneficial, because it starts to identify the kind of use cases and the complex ways you need to solve them in a blockchain that become increasingly easy for Holochain. So I take it as there's a groundswell. There's a lot of demand for this kind of solution. Not everyone knows about Holochain, so French government may mention it, but others start to articulate it, including Elon Musk and Vitalik, etc., when they're talking about technical limitations of blockchain.
So what he's saying is that, as I stated before, Tim Berners-Lee, Elon Musk, Vitalik Buterin, they all understand the weaknesses of blockchain. And now we're starting to get to the point to where, and David has realized this. A lot of people have realized this every single time. And I've even, who was one of my favorite, and I'm just going to not, one of my favorite, The Modern Investor, one of my favorite YouTubers, because, you know, he's a cool guy and everything. But he was talking about, well, you know, once this comes up and this comes up and this comes up, and I'm like, he's talking about Holochain. Like, everything that he's saying, he's talking about Holochain. Now, here's the thing. This was actually a while ago, before I actually started making videos. And obviously, The Modern Investor, you know, been making videos long before me. But when he started talking about these things, I'm like, why isn't he talking about this? Why doesn't anybody talk about it? Like, I don't understand. But I do understand the fact that there's a lot of projects out there, right? But what I don't understand is, like, if I could find it, like, I didn't just wake up and be like, oh, wow, like, let me go down into Project 800 and find out if what's going on with the hot token. And it wasn't 800, but I'm just saying, like, when you do your research and you find out exactly what technology is doing what and how they're actually going about doing it, and then also understanding, okay, how does it, and I've stated this before, how does this technology affect what we have now, the newest technology? And David right now is talking about, and I'm not going to play this whole entire video, but basically he's talking about how all of these things with blockchain, all of these inefficiencies with blockchain are going to be solved with Holochain. Now I'm going to back up, and we're going to go back and we're going to talk about what she was actually talking about with as far as the being endorsed by the French government. Now, I don't know. All right, whatever. Okay, so this is talking about investments in the future. The Ministry of Culture announces the creation of a thing transforming the culture and the creative industries throughout digital technology and IOV Wave 8 competition, whose applicants are open until October 5th. Now, here's the thing. Here's something very, very interesting. I want you guys to look at this. And this thing is a little bit long. You guys, not a little bit long, but I'm not going to read this whole entire thing. But I want you guys to pay attention to something because it's always in the small details that you have to catch things. All right. And I'm going to put this in a link as well. Thanks to Air Nova for sending this to me on Twitter. I appreciate that. All right. So we are looking at right here. It says the cultural creative industry CCI, is that CCI? CCI were selected to be a part of the competition themes. By the way, when I put this out, if you go to the upper right hand side, it'll be in French. But if you click up here, you can put it in English. Okay, so that's kind of important. All right, so here we go. Many technologies are increasingly structuring for the ICC sector immersive technologies, virtual reality, and augmented reality. Now, I've told you guys before, I've talked about virtual reality a lot and augmented reality. You guys have to understand when it comes to this technology, when it comes to the future of technology and where the world is going, the working sector, the section, how people are starting to work from home and remote and all of these different things, you have to understand what's happening in our economy, what's happening in our world. Big data, artificial intelligence, and then it says blockchain, and then it says holochain, and then it says 3D printing. This is a huge step. Now, many of you guys don't realize this, but I'm going to tell you why this is a huge step. Because they have purposely separated the differences between the technology with blockchain and the technologies with holochain. And they have lumped the two together and said, hey, blockchain is different from holochain. And we're going to find out exactly how it transforms our ecosystem and creative, the culture creative industries and they're a part of their competition themes, it says. So this is extremely important. Just this alone tells me how educated the French government is when it comes to this. Because right now, over here in America, you say holochain and they're thinking cryptocurrency. You say blockchain and they're thinking cryptocurrency. You say digital cash and they're thinking cryptocurrency. They don't understand the differences. And then not everybody. Obviously, there's a lot of people, and even David, if you guys saw, he mentioned Silicon Valley. There are a lot of people who understand exactly what's going on. Now, I'm not gonna play this whole entire video. I'm gonna play it for a little bit, and then I'm gonna stop it here. And then I'm just gonna end this video. But I want to let you guys know. Obviously, this is why the price is popping up. Things are starting to look good. As far as the timing is concerned, the timing could not be any more perfect. And this is like a perfect storm. If the Holo organization comes through with really getting everything completed. Oh, and by the way, they've already stated that. We'll get into that in just a second. But yeah. Hold on. We'll get into it in a second.
And we need to be ready. So Holo, Elemental Chess, Elemental Chat, all of these things are building us towards beta, where we launch Holo Fuel. You have the hosting network operating and a series of applications. And as that comes online, I think I think there's another huge ecosystem that's going to get built out in the blockchain space, but it's not going to look the same as, how the various ecosystems, whether it's Polygon or Avalanche or Reef or, Binance Smart Chain, they look relatively similar, those ecosystems. I think we're going to see a very fresh, new, different ecosystem. I think that's going to be awesome for everybody and hopefully really good bridges between the different worlds.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, really, like you said earlier, how much has changed in just the last couple of years, and unfathomable what the next 5 years or so will bring and how that will look. So in a little bit more of an immediate sense, also coming up wise is an Orion Pool listing. So for anyone unfamiliar with Orion Pool V2 launched on Tuesday, August 3rd. And really that marked the next stage of Orion, more assets, more liquidity, and more volume to Orion Terminal. So as easily as providing liquidity to the likes of Uniswap or...
By the way, if you guys watch this, it's somewhere in here. Again, I look at videos multiple times. I'm going to look at this video again, but they're going to talk about, David actually talks about the long-term value for hot token and hollow fuel.
Or other leading pools, any third-party project on our integrated chains can now list their token on Orion Pool, but it brings a number of key benefits to projects like the leading swap. Firstly, that's global access to assets across centralized and decentralized liquidity sources, native asset farming, complex order types, charting, marketing support, future advanced features like margin and lending, and even more in the pipeline. So we are starting our listing rollout with our Spotlight projects, and that, of course, includes Holochain. So what does a listing on Orion Pool mean for you and for your community?
Now, I want you guys to listen to this, and this is the last thing. If you guys see here, you can guys kind of see kind of like a little sly smile from David. Now, obviously, this is a if you got to look at body language, but anyway, I'm going to press play.
Well, I think firstly, as you said, like this has been a really long-term relationship that dates back to 2019 and you know, in many cases, like on a personal level before then. And I think our the Orion and Holochain communities have both been very excited about the possibility for this, both for hot and for hollow fuel over.
Did you guys hear that? Both for hot and for hollow fuel.
Over a period of time. So one of the things I like about it is just it's making good on a long-term commitment, and that's always a great sign for a community, especially like our decentralized communities of fans and supporters.
As I stated before, you guys, I'm going to stop it right there. You guys, if you want to finish it, please, by all means, I'm going to put the link down below. I'm also going to put the link down below of here. But as I've stated before, it is extremely important for you guys to understand how important it's a really good thing that the hot token is an ERC20 token, because it's going to allow the hot token to run across different platforms, and it's going to increase the value of, believe it or not, of hollow fuel as well. Now, we all know the long term where hollow fuel, where we're hoping that hollow fuel becomes its own entity, but who knows? It might not ever be. It might always be a continuous back and forth between the hot token and hollow fuel. We don't know. I don't want to look too far in the future because those are things that I just don't know. But what I will say is this, that there's a definite correlation, and it's extremely important. And this is why I've talked to you guys before about not, hey, some people were saying, oh, yeah, as soon as hollow fuel comes out, I'm going to switch my hot over into hollow fuel. If you're going to do that, please do your own research and make sure that you actually have a good reason as to why you're doing that, okay? Anyway, I'm going to stop it right there. I just want to let you guys know exactly what was going on. These are extremely big things. It's really cool to see. As you guys can see, I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very excited that things are starting to really move forward. Right? Things are starting. Oh wow! Look, it went up to 8.1. So yeah, things are. It looks like it's trying to make its way back up to 1 cent. We'll see. As I stated before, I definitely see at least without even hollow fuel coming out 10 to 15 cent hot token, and that could be conservative. Who knows? We're gonna go over my next video. I'm gonna go over the supply of the hot token and how it actually correlates with what's going on and what they're trying to do. All right, you guys. So that's it for me. Please. As I always say, do your own research. Look at that. Bitcoin is up 43,000. And then last but not least, above all else, you guys, please stay safe out there. Bye, you guys.